Emily sat by her window, gazing out at the bustling city below. The tall buildings seemed to block more than just the sunlight, they also blocked her feelings of hope and fulfillment. In her heart, she longed for a connection that was deeper than the surface-level relationships she had experienced so far. Friends often teased her about being a hopeless romantic, but Emily didn't mind. She believed in love, real love, the kind that made your heart race and filled you with dreams. At 25, Emily had seen her friends settle down, finding partners who understood them and shared their lives. Yet, there she was, scrolling through dating apps and attending parties that left her feeling even more alone. City life was fast-paced and exciting, but it lacked the warmth she craved. Her heart yearned for something genuine, something that felt like home. One evening, after yet another disappointing date, Emily made a decision. She would take a break from the city and explore new horizons. With a spark of courage ignited within her, she booked a weekend retreat in a small town famous for its cowboy culture. It was a world away from the concrete jungle she knew so well. As she packed her bags, excitement bubbled inside her. Perhaps this trip would lead her to the true love she had been searching for all along. Little did she know that this journey would not only change her perspective on love but also guide her toward someone who embodied everything she had dreamed of, a cowboy with a heart as wide as the open sky. With her mind made up, Emily felt a weight lift off her shoulders. As she packed her suitcase, she imagined how different life in a small town would be compared to the hustle and bustle of the city. The idea of wide open spaces and the gentle sounds of nature excited her more than she could express. She carefully selected clothes for her weekend getaway, picturing herself wearing comfortable jeans and cozy flannel shirts while sipping hot cocoa beneath a starlit sky. When she finished packing, Emily connected with her friends to share her plans. Some cheered her on, eager to hear about her adventures, while others were skeptical about what could come from a weekend in a place so different from home. But their doubt only fueled her excitement. She wanted an escape from city life and a chance to meet someone who shared her values, a person who understood the beauty of simplicity. The day finally arrived for Emily to leave. As she boarded the bus, anticipation bubbled within her. The scenery transformed as they drove further away from the city's concrete buildings into rolling hills and wide fields dotted with horses grazing peacefully. Upon arriving in the small town, Emily was greeted by a warm breeze and friendly smiles from locals who instantly made her feel welcomed. This was exactly what she needed, a fresh start where love could bloom in unexpected ways. She was ready to embrace whatever this weekend had in store for her, hopeful that true love might just be around the corner. As Emily stepped off the bus, she was immediately enveloped by the fresh, crisp air that felt softer than anything in the city. The sweet scent of wildflowers danced around her, tickling her senses and making her smile. She stood still for a moment, taking in the breathtaking landscape that stretched out before her. Rolling hills with patches of green grass, grazing horses, and a vibrant blue sky provided a stark contrast to the concrete jungle she was used to. The town itself was quaint, with charming wooden shops lining the streets and friendly faces going about their day. An elderly couple waved at her from their porch, while children dashed by laughing and playing. She could hear the distant sound of a guitar strumming somewhere close, and it filled her heart with warmth. Emily felt like she had stepped into a scene from a movie where everyone knew each other and life moved at a slower pace. Finding her way to the small inn where she would be staying, Emily felt a sense of belonging wash over her. The innkeeper greeted her with a bright smile and offered her some homemade cookies, an unexpected but delightful welcome note. As she settled into her cozy room with its rustic charm, Emily's excitement grew stronger. She couldn't wait to explore more of this lovely town, wondering what adventures awaited her in these beautiful surroundings and if love would find her here among the friendly locals. The next day, Emily set out to explore the town, her heart racing with excitement. As she wandered through the streets, she stumbled upon a lively farmer's market filled with colorful produce and handmade goods. Laughter and chatter surrounded her, making the atmosphere feel warm and inviting. It was there that she first saw Jake. He was leaning against a wooden fence, casually chatting with a group of friends while keeping an eye on a few horses nearby. With his sun-kissed skin, tousled hair, and a wide-brimmed hat perched jauntily on his head, he radiated charm and confidence. Emily felt her breath catch as she noticed the way he laughed heartily, his smile lighting up his rugged face. There was something about him that drew her in, perhaps it was his easygoing nature or the way he connected effortlessly with those around him. Gathering her courage, Emily approached the group, her heart pounding in her chest. As she got closer, Jake caught her eye and smiled warmly, sending a flutter of excitement through her. "Hey there! You must be new in town," he said, his voice deep and inviting. They exchanged pleasantries, and she found herself captivated by his stories about ranch life. As they talked, time seemed to slow down around them. Emily could feel an undeniable chemistry building between them. She realized that meeting Jake might be just the beginning of the adventure she had hoped for during her retreat, an unexpected spark in a weekend meant for exploration. The following evening, the town hosted a lively rodeo, drawing in locals and visitors alike. Emily felt a thrill of excitement as she made her way to the event, eager to see more of the cowboy culture that had sparked her interest. The air was filled with the sounds of cheers, laughter, and country music drifting from the stage. Colorful lights illuminated the arena, creating a festive atmosphere that made her heart race. As Emily wandered through the crowd, she spotted Jake again, his handsome figure standing out among the other cowboys. He was surrounded by friends, his laughter ringing out like music. She felt a surge of joy at the sight of him and couldn't resist making her way over. "Mind if I join you?" she asked playfully. "Not at all. We could use another smile around here," Jake replied with a grin, his eyes twinkling with mischief. They quickly fell into easy conversation, sharing jokes and stories while enjoying the excitement of the event. Whether they were cheering for the bull riders or laughing at each other's playful banter, every moment felt electric. As the sun dipped below the horizon and stars twinkled above, Emily and Jake found themselves stepping away from the group to watch a stunning display of fireworks light up the night sky. In that magical moment, surrounded by bursts of color and light, they shared stories about their lives, revealing dreams and hopes that felt surprisingly aligned. Time seemed to vanish as they laughed together under the stars, both realizing that this connection was something special, an adventure filled with laughter and fun that neither wanted to end. The next day, after the excitement of the rodeo, Jake invited Emily to spend some time on his family's ranch. Her heart raced with anticipation as she agreed, eager to explore this new side of cowboy life. When they arrived at the ranch, Emily was greeted by sprawling fields and sturdy barns, all painted in warm shades of red and brown. The sound of horses whinnying and cattle mooing filled the air, creating an authentic ranch atmosphere that made her feel alive. Jake introduced her to his favorite horse, a gentle gelding named Whiskey. "He's a sweetheart," Jake said with a smile, showing her how to saddle him up. Emily watched attentively, fascinated as he demonstrated various techniques for riding and handling horses. With his patient guidance, she mounted Whiskey for the first time, feeling a mix of nerves and exhilaration. As they rode side by side through the fields, Emily felt a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced before. The wind whipped through her hair as they galloped, and laughter bubbled up between them. They shared stories about their lives, bonding over their love for adventure and the outdoors. Jake taught her how to steer Whiskey while highlighting the importance of trust between rider and horse. Afterward, they took a break near a sparkling creek where Emily soaked in the beauty around her. With every ride and every shared experience, Emily not only learned about ranch life but also discovered a deeper connection with Jake, a bond built on shared interests and mutual respect that left her hopeful for what lay ahead. As the sun began to set over the ranch, Emily watched the vibrant colors paint the sky, but a cloud of uncertainty loomed in her heart. While she felt a deep connection with Jake, she couldn't shake the worry of returning to her city life. The fun and excitement of their days together contrasted sharply with the lonely nights spent back in the city. Each time she laughed with Jake or rode with him through the fields, she felt herself falling deeper, yet with each moment came a nagging thought: what would it mean to choose this life over her familiar urban existence? Part of her craved the adventure and simplicity of ranch life, while another part feared what she might be giving up. The chaos of city living came with its own comforts, even if they felt shallow. One night, as she sat on the porch with Jake, watching the stars twinkle above them, he casually spoke about his dreams for the future, expanding the ranch and starting a family. Emily's heart fluttered with excitement but sank simultaneously at the thought of being part of such a different world. Could she really leave everything behind? That evening, Emily found herself tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep. The idyllic days she spent with Jake were filled with joy, but they also forced her to confront her fears. Admitting to herself that she might want more than just a weekend fling was a struggle. She knew she had a choice to make: follow her heart toward Jake and this new life, or retreat back to the safety of the city where everything was known but unfulfilling. One evening, after a long day of riding and exploring the ranch, Emily and Jake found themselves sitting by a crackling campfire under the vast starlit sky. The air was cool, and the warmth from the fire wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. As they roasted marshmallows, Emily felt the weight of her earlier thoughts pressing on her heart. She knew it was time to share her feelings, but she also wanted to understand Jake better. "Jake," she began softly, "what do you dream about for your future?" He paused, staring into the flames as if gathering his thoughts. "I've always wanted to expand the ranch and maybe start a family someday," he replied, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. "But, truthfully, I've been scared. Losing someone I care about is a fear I carry." Emily's heart fluttered at his honesty, feeling a surge of empathy. "You mean, like what happened to your parents?" she asked gently. Jake nodded, his expression serious. "Yeah," he admitted. "I watched them struggle through tough times, and it made me hesitant. Sometimes I think it's easier to keep things casual instead of risking my heart." Hearing this resonated deeply with Emily. She had her own fears of commitment. "I understand that fear," she said. "I think I've been running away from real love too, afraid of what it might cost me." In that moment of shared vulnerability, their bond deepened further. They spent hours talking about their dreams and fears, realizing that while love could be daunting, it was also a journey worth taking together. Despite their deepening connection, doubts began to creep into Emily's mind after a misunderstanding with Jake. One afternoon, while they were out riding, Emily excitedly shared her plans for the future, talking about how wonderful it would be to blend her city life with the ranch lifestyle. However, Jake's response was less enthusiastic than she had hoped. He seemed distant, and his expression shifted to one of concern rather than excitement. Later that day, Emily overheard Jake discussing the challenges of balancing family commitments and the ranch with a friend. It struck her that he might not be ready for the kind of relationship she envisioned, and the thought unnerved her. She felt a wave of uncertainty wash over her, making her question whether she should return to the comfort of her old life, one filled with predictable routines and familiar faces. That evening, as she walked alone by the creek, memories of her city life flooded back: her friends, her job, and the busy streets that once felt like home. Wouldn't it be easier to go back to that world? The thought of leaving everything behind for a man who might not share her dreams felt daunting. Emily wrestled with her emotions, torn between the deep bond she felt with Jake and the fear of stepping into the unknown. As she sat on the bank, watching the water flow by, she realized she needed to talk to Jake about her feelings. Clarity could only come from open communication, and perhaps together they could find a way forward that embraced both their hopes. Just when Emily was wrestling with her feelings, the town scheduled its annual Harvest Festival, a celebration that brought everyone together for a weekend of fun and community spirit. Excitement buzzed through the air as colorful banners hung across the streets, and the scent of freshly baked pies wafted from vendor stalls. Emily decided this was the perfect opportunity to reconnect with Jake and the community, hoping it would lift her spirits. On the day of the festival, laughter filled the atmosphere as children ran around playing games, and families gathered for barbecue cook-offs and pie-eating contests. Emily felt a sense of joy watching everyone come together, sharing stories and creating memories. As evening fell, she spotted Jake helping set up the main stage with a group of friends. His smile lit up her heart, reminding her of their special connection. However, amidst the festivities, a sudden storm blew in unexpectedly, darkening the sky and sending gusts of wind through the crowd. Panic ensued as people rushed to secure tents and protect their belongings. Emily watched as Jake quickly stepped into action, coordinating with others to ensure everyone was safe. Seeing his leadership and care for the community reignited something within Emily, a realization that love could thrive in unexpected moments. Once the storm passed, people emerged from their shelters to find a renewed sense of unity. They hugged, laughed, and shared stories about the wildness of nature outside. In that moment, Emily understood that true connections were forged not only in good times but also in facing challenges together. As she sought out Jake amidst the crowd, she felt ready to embrace both love and uncertainty, knowing they could navigate whatever storms lay ahead together. As the storm passed and the chaos of the festival settled, Emily found herself searching for Jake amidst the crowd. She felt a sense of urgency to talk to him, to express everything that had been swirling in her heart. When she finally spotted him helping an elderly woman gather her belongings, she felt a rush of admiration. Jake's genuine care for others only deepened her feelings. Once they were back together, Emily took a deep breath, her heart pounding with the weight of unspoken words. "Jake," she began, "I realized that this storm brought out something in me that I've been avoiding. In moments like this, I see how much you mean to me." Jake looked at her intently, his expression serious. "I feel it too, Emily," he confessed. "When I saw you worried during the storm, I realized how much I want you in my life, not just for a weekend, but for the long haul." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, all the doubts they had been harboring melted away. Emily understood that love was not just about fairy tales and easy days, it was also about navigating storms together and supporting one another through challenges. "I'm scared," she admitted softly, "but I don't want to run away from what we have." Jake nodded, his voice steady. "Neither do I. Let's face whatever comes next together." With their fears laid bare and their hearts open, Emily and Jake embraced, feeling a renewed sense of commitment to each other. They knew that despite any uncertainties ahead, they were ready to build a future together. As the weekend drew to a close, Emily found herself standing on the porch of her inn, staring out at the vast expanse of the ranch. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over everything, and it felt like a metaphor for the warmth she had found in this small town. Yet, with that warmth came an undeniable chill of uncertainty. She only had a few days left before returning to her city life, and she was faced with a decision that weighed heavily on her heart. Jake approached her, sensing her turmoil. "You okay?" he asked gently. "I'm not sure," Emily replied, her voice trembling slightly. "I've loved every moment here with you, but I don't know if I can leave everything behind." Jake nodded, understanding the conflict she felt. "I get it. This life is different, it's not always easy. But it can be rewarding too." As they spoke, memories of her busy city life flooded her mind, the routine of work, the bustling streets, and the friends who loved her but never truly understood her longing for something deeper. Yet now, she also envisioned the laughter shared with Jake, the freedom of riding through the fields, and the sense of community that made her feel alive. Emily took a deep breath, torn between staying in this newfound paradise and returning to her old life where comfort reigned. Finally, she looked into Jake's eyes and asked, "What happens if I decide to stay?" His gaze softened. "Then we build something together." In that moment, clarity washed over Emily. She realized that true love required courage and the willingness to step into the unknown, leaving behind what was familiar for what could be extraordinary. With the decision weighing on her heart, Emily stepped down from the porch and walked toward Jake, who was leaning against his truck, watching the sunset. The warm glow of the evening sun cast a beautiful light on his face, illuminating the kindness in his eyes and the warmth she felt during their time together. Taking a deep breath, she approached him with determination. "Jake," she said softly, capturing his attention. "I've thought a lot about what we talked about earlier." His expression shifted from curiosity to expectancy as he waited for her to continue. "I've realized that stepping into this new life with you scares me, but it also excites me more than anything I've ever experienced." She paused, searching for the right words to express her feelings. "I don't want to go back to my old life and regret not taking a chance on us." Jake's face broke into a smile, relief washing over him as he stepped closer. "Are you saying you want to stay?" he asked, his voice hopeful. "Yes," Emily replied firmly. "I want to embrace my feelings for you and build something special together. I'm ready for this adventure." As they stood there in the fading light, both felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over them. In that moment, all uncertainty faded away, Emily knew she had made the right choice. Jake reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers as a promise of what lay ahead. Together they watched as the sun dipped below the horizon, ready to embark on their journey of love and connection in this small town that had become their home. As the sun vanished below the horizon, Emily and Jake remained on the porch, their fingers still intertwined, basking in the warmth of their newfound commitment. The stars began to twinkle above them, and a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, filling the night air with a sense of magic. "Ready for an adventure?" Jake asked playfully, breaking the comfortable silence. Emily chuckled softly. "What do you have in mind?" Jake's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as he leaned closer. "How about we start by exploring that hiking trail through the woods tomorrow morning? They say it leads to a hidden waterfall, a perfect spot for a picnic." Her heart filled with excitement at the thought of discovering new places together. "That sounds amazing. I can't wait." And after that, he continued, "we can plan a day at the rodeo next month when they hold their first competition of the season." Emily felt a rush of thrill thinking about cheering together for the Cowboys and enjoying every moment of small-town life that had quickly captivated her heart. "I'm in," she declared, her spirit soaring at the prospect of all their adventures ahead. As they exchanged ideas and laughter, Emily realized how natural it felt to be with him. The future no longer seemed daunting but instead brought her joy and anticipation. They spoke late into the night, dreaming about travels and experiences yet to come. With each passing moment, they strengthened their bond, confident that whatever lay ahead, whether it be challenges or joys, they would face it side by side, learning and growing together in love. As they finally retreated inside for the night, Emily knew she had found her place in this life alongside Jake, filled with love and endless possibilities.